Good morning. This special edition of the Cook Report is going to feature our first interview. That's right. Go buy the lottery ticket. This is the first one ever in the history of the world. Okay. It's like we've done this on paper a lot, but we're actually recording one now. And my guest today is David Hughes. And I'll let you tell folks where you're from and what you do a little bit, and then we're going to get into the 5 questions. And if you don't know what the 5 questions are and what that's about, stay tuned. We'll identify those issues and how that helps you in your transparency for your company or your service. Go ahead, Dave.
Cheers, Guy. Thanks for that. Look, I'm David Hughes. I'm from Australia. I live in Victoria, in the nicest part on the Mornington Peninsula. I see myself as a bridge builder. I design a bridge to take people from where they are to where they want to be in the speaking, effective communications and leadership industry. I consult to a couple of corporations. I have some private clients. I'm a distinguished Toastmaster and have been in Toastmasters for a long time. It's the greatest program for just learning these things. I used to speak terribly, terribly fast. And my bosses never understood a word I said. And they told me to go to Toastmasters to slow down. And that's what I've done. And I've been very successful in Toastmasters and now making, being successful in private tuition of people and also working in corporations. Right. So I'm very privileged, really.
Excellent. Excellent.
So that's me.
Thanks. Now, real quick, the 27 questions I just mentioned, we sent David a list of 27 questions to pick 5 questions thereof that deal with things other than where you're from, kid, so that we can increase the transparency that his brand, his service has. He was allowed to pick those 5 questions out of the list of 27 that probably were his favorites. And so on that note, and we'll have in the show notes, we'll have a link to those 27 questions so you too could do an interview someday. So the first question, David, that's on the list is, what do you like to do?
I like to connect with people, Guy. I don't know whether I have a talent for it, but I certainly know a lot of people around the world. I've met many on social media, but I've also met them in person. I have good friends in Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Egypt. I've got friends in Africa, and I visit those places from time to time. So I see myself as a bit of a connector, and not for any conceited idea of that, but people tell me that I'm good with people, and so that's what I like to do. I like to meet new people. I like to have new experiences in different parts of the world. That's my main sort of thing about that.
And moving on is, what are you working on?
Currently, I've had a small business for 6 years, and it's good because small businesses, as you probably know, most drop off after a year, 90%, and they reckon 50% will last 3 years and less, and so on. I've been going for 6 years, small business. I've never really been advertising very much. It's really word of mouth that I get my work. But this year, I'm working on a new website. I'm really working on ramping the business up. At my age, I think I've probably got another 4 or 5 years at this, so I want to just be much more professional now, and that seems to be taking off, which is really good. So that's what I want, really.
Question 3, it says, what's the most interesting thing that's happened to you lately?
Well, I guess last night is as recent as I can speak about. I was what's known as the Toastmaster of the evening, or that's like the MC that runs the meeting, and it's a 2-hour meeting, and the people that are in the club are all distinguished Toastmasters like myself, so we see ourselves as the sort of, not experts, but we're the more experienced of Toastmasters. And I was asked to be the MC. Yeah.
One of the things I haven't heard you say, I haven't heard you say it, but you've mentioned to me a time or 3 that you've got access to 330,000 members.
That's right. We have 330,000 members around the world, 142 countries. And once you are a member in one place, you're a member in every place. So that's how I get to meet people. Yes, and these people are very experienced Toastmasters, but they were saying that their meetings were starting to get a bit too social or something. It needed to be tightened up, and they asked me to be the MC for the night, and we certainly did that. And that was it was really good, and I was thanked. The people actually sent me emails today. I've never known that before, so that was good, saying how good it was with me and like in charge of the MC bit, which was great. So that was great.
And the fourth question is, what are you looking forward to right now?
I'm looking forward
please
to,
don't say this interview to get over. That would not.
No. I'm actually, the other thing is I do a lot of things with my life, and I volunteer a lot.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, in fact, in about 5 or 6 hours, I'll be serving breakfasts to homeless people. And they're the kind of things I look forward to, like, because I've got a lot out of life, and I've been very fortunate. And now I seem, giving back and being a bit of a philanthropist, not necessarily financially, but certainly giving of my time wherever I can. And that's what I really look forward to. And of course, speaking to you and other people on this platform. That's great.
Right. The last question, and this is historic, folks. If you're not writing this down, go right out and buy a lottery ticket after you get done listening. And the Cook Report will be on iTunes, will be on the podbean.com site, will be on Stitcher Radio, on YouTube, and on the Geyer Cook Online Services blog. So several places. And the last question, what problem do you wish you could solve?
I think that it would be getting rid of world poverty, bringing people who are way below the poverty line up to a level where they at least had kind of subsistence and enough to live, enough to eat, and that sort of thing. I think that the gap between the rich and poor is getting wider. So if I could solve a problem, it would be that. Try and get it more balanced.
Perfect.
I try hard, but it's not happening yet.
Well, I think with access to 330,000 Toastmasters is a good start. So I would thank DavidAHughes from Australia for being the first ever Cook Report interview. These shows are normally put back online on Wednesdays, and that's because in the Cook Report, and you'll see that when you get the download link to the 27 questions that's in the show notes. I'll read it right off the page. On Mondays, we talk about the blog roll. On Tuesdays, tactical tips for SEO. On Wednesday is the mind, or special interviews like this one. Thursday, B2B Thursday, and that could be a beekeeper. We've done that joke once. And Friday, the weekly news roundup. I want to thank everyone for listening and that joined us in the chat. There's several familiar faces and some new faces. The end of the show is always on the Cook Report, ended with the same 3 magic words, and stay on. We'll have an afterglow in just a bit. I always say at the end, it's a wrap.